Hey, what's going on? My name is Ben. Welcome back to another class. Today we'll be doing some Katonah yoga. And for today's class, I have blocks, right? I have 3 blocks because I have these little thin ones. If you have 2 of the regular sized blocks, they're kind of like 2 of these, then that will be perfect as well. And if you don't have any blocks, then you don't need them. You can make this practice work and adapt it to not use any props. So go ahead and get started in a tabletop position onto all fours. And right when you get into your tabletop position, begin moving through some cat-cows. So inhale to expand, exhale to round and pull in. Inhale to expand, exhale to round and pull in. And just keep it going, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. And you can build up a little bit of speed. Let this start with the tilting of the pelvis forward and back, and then let it move into the spine. And also feel your knuckles on the mat. So if you feel like you're putting all your weight into the base of your wrist, distribute some of that weight forward into the knuckles and the fingertips. In, out, in, out. And you might start going a little bit faster, right? Stoke the fire a little bit. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Keep it going here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax a little bit. And then go ahead and bring the left leg more to the middle of the mat. And then wrap the right leg over top of the left leg to create a braid. It's like Gomukhasana in the legs. And then take a big backstroke in the left arm to bring the left palm facing backwards, and a big backstroke in the right palm to have the right hand facing backwards, and then begin to stir your hips in a clockwise direction. Just stir the hips around. And so this is a variation of what's called the fluency practice. And hopefully you can already feel this theme of fluency. We want to be fluid. We want our edges to become a little bit more rounded, a little bit more fluent, a little bit more cohesive. And we want to be able to become more fluent in the language of our bodies. And so the more we understand our bodies, the more we understand our breath, the more we wrap our mind into the body and the breath, then the more fluent we become. We become more fluent of ourselves. All right, from here, go ahead and switch legs. So right leg is a little bit more in the middle, left leg wraps over, and then we'll do a different wrist formation. So go ahead and interlace all of the fingers at the webbing, and then flip and push the palms to face down. Feel free to take a few moments to get your palms in this orientation. Try to bring some space between the thumbs, and then stir your hips in a counterclockwise direction. Keep finding your knuckles on the mat and keep finding some fluency in the hips, in the legs. And let your breath be along for the ride. So we should always be pretty conscious of our breath and how it's moving through us. All right, and now is a bit of a challenge on the wrists, so go ahead and bring the legs back to normal. Flip the palms away from you so the backs of the hands press into the mat, and then just kind of bend the elbows and straighten the arms a few times. And then here's the big challenge for the wrists, especially if you don't do this kind of stuff very often. Flip the wrists again. So that the inner wrists face forward, palms down to the mat, crawl the knees forward, sit back to your heels a little bit. And if you want a little bit more, if you're feeling extra like me, you can go ahead and plug your palms down using your knees. I know it feels scary, especially if you've never done that before. But like many things that start out scary, once we practice them, they become less scary. They become familiar, and familiarity is safety. So you can actually make anything in the world safe to you, and the safety just comes from repetition. Like for me, riding a skateboard would be very scary, because I don't know how to ride a skateboard. But if I started doing it all the time, all of a sudden that would become a safe place for me. Go ahead and let this go. And try not to shake out the palms too much. Try to just place the hands back down regularly. Notice how that feels. And then come into a downward facing dog. So step back to a plank first to measure. And then bend the knees and lift your hips way, way up to the sky. So butt faces up toward the sky. Ears are in line with the upper arms. We're pushing through the side bodies, creating lots of length in the whole body. And then from here, we'll kind of build our dog. So on the inhale, take a crouching dog. So compress everything. Bend the knees greatly. Hips toward heels, thighs to belly. And then exhale, butt to the sky. Inhale, crouching dog, get low. Exhale, butt to the sky. Inhale, crouching dog, get low. Exhale, butt to the sky. 4 more. Inhale, get low. Exhale, butt to the sky. Inhale, get low. Exhale, butt to the sky. Inhale, get low. Exhale, butt to the sky. Last one. Inhale, get low. Exhale, butt to the sky. This time, inhale, crouch, and then lunge the right foot to the top of the mat. Drop the left knee down. This is where I'm going to use a block to support my left leg, putting the block at an angle against my thigh. And this totally is not required. It's just a nice thing to do, in my opinion. It gives you a little bit of structure. I often do this practice in the morning too. So in the morning, it's really nice to give my body a little bit of extra scaffolding, if you will. Bring the fingertips or the fingers to interlace at the webbing. And then bring the palms behind the head, throw the elbows up to the sky, and find a strong lunge. Take 3 breaths. Once you've taken those 3 breaths, release the hands, place the block to the side, and return to your dog. As you return to your dog, inhale, crouch, and then shoot to plank on the exhale. And then inhale, crouch, butt to the sky on the exhale. Inhale, crouch, plank pose, shoot forward. Inhale, crouch, dog pose, butt to the sky. Inhale, crouch, plank pose, shoot forward. Inhale, crouch. Exhale, butt to the sky. Last one, inhale, crouch. Exhale, shoot forward. Inhale, crouch. Exhale, butt to the sky. And then inhale, crouch. And just to lunge the left foot forward. Drop the right knee down. Go ahead and grab a block if you have one nearby. Rise up into a strong lunge. Again, you can do this without the block. Interlace fingers to the webbing, bring the palms behind your head, throw your elbows up, find a little bit of a back bend, and keep pushing your back right foot down into the floor. Everything lifts up. Take an inhale. Take an exhale. 2 more at your own pace. Once you've taken those breaths, release any props and return to your downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, bend your knees and lift your butt way, way up. And then root down into your left hand and bring the right palm onto the small of your back. Try to keep lifting your hips to the sky, even in this one-armed down dog. Just kind of play with balance and keep pushing your right foot down into the mat. Stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1, right hand returns, and then left hand lifts up and places on the small of your back. Try to keep everything in the middle, so try not to sway too much to the right or anything like that. Hips are lifting to the sky. Stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, the left hand returns. And then let's flow with these one-arm down dogs. So inhale, crouch. Exhale, swing the right arm back as the hips lift to the sky. Inhale, crouch, right arm returns. Exhale, left arm to the sky as the legs straighten. So inhale, crouch. Every time we crouch, the hand returns. Every time we straighten the legs, the arm lifts up. And go ahead and find a flow. Inhaling to crouch, exhaling to lift one arm. Inhaling to crouch, exhaling to lift the other arm. You can always look at the screen. It's a exhale, inhale, crouch, exhale, lift. Inhale, crouch, exhale, lift. Inhale, crouch, exhale, lift. Go 3 more. Inhale, crouch, exhale, lift. Inhale, crouch, exhale, lift. Last one. Come back to your crouching position and lunge the right foot forward. And drop the left knee down. And then go ahead and bring the right foot a little bit wider and tilt your right toes out at an angle. From here, kind of lift yourself open into a bit of a back bend. Bend your left knee and hug your left heel in towards your glute. And then reach back for your foot and find a bind. Bind onto your ankle, keep the toes flexing down toward the heels, and then find a gentle push of your left ankle or foot into your hand. And let that push kind of make you lighter in the left hand. So if you find yourself dumping all of your weight forward into your left hand, bring more of your energetic intention and awareness into your right hand and into your left foot behind you. And then go ahead and gently release and return to your dog pose. From your dog pose, let's go ahead and inhale, crouch, plank pose on the exhale. Inhale, crouch, one arm dog, left arm swings up on the exhale. Inhale, crouch, exhale, plank. Inhale, crouch, right arm to the sky. Inhale, crouch, exhale, plank. Inhale, crouch, left arm to the sky. Inhale, crouch, exhale, plank. Inhale, crouch, right arm to the sky. Inhale, crouch, plank pose on the exhale. Inhale, crouch, left arm to the sky. Inhale, crouch, plank pose on the exhale. Inhale, crouch, right arm to the sky. This time, bring both hands down, crouching position. Lunge the left foot up to the top of the mat. Drop the right knee down and flatten the top of the right foot down. Bring the left foot a little bit wider to its own side, and then point the left toes out at an angle, and you'll notice the left knee is tracking right over the toes. Bend your right knee, hug the heel in towards the glute, and then find your twist, reaching back, left hand to the right foot. And then again, give a little push of the right leg into the left palm, and let that bring the weight back into the legs so that you can be very light in the right hand. Once you've been here for some time, go ahead and release that and return to your dog. All right, this is actually where you can take a little break and come to your knees, and I'm gonna explain this prop setup. So again, if you don't have blocks, you can do this without blocks. I just find it to be a nice addition. And if you don't have blocks, you can find blocks for pretty cheap. I'm pretty sure all you need is like $10, you know. I really like these cork blocks, but they're a little bit more expensive. So you could just buy the cheap foam ones, you know. Anything is worth it. And then if you decide you want the more solid cork ones, you can spend more. But these might be like $20 a pop or something. It's worth it if you practice yoga every day, that's for sure. All right, come into your down dog And your third eye center should kind of meet right at the edges of the blocks. And then from here, we're just gonna keep transitioning from down dog to up dog several times. So I like to have the tops of my thighs meet the blocks. And then we're doing this tuck-toed variation of up dog. So be strong in your legs. That's really the only cue that really matters, is be very strong in your legs. So keep the legs straight, drive the heels back, and engage your thighs. And then when you go back to down dog, you bend the knees and lift the butt back, and maybe your third eye taps the blocks. And then inhales forward to up dog with strong legs. Exhales back to down dog. And then just keep going back and forth. There's no specific pace you need to move at. It actually depends on the length of your breath. So the full inhale should bring you forward to up dog, and the full exhale should bring you back to down dog. And obviously the arms are very involved in this movement, but see if you can let it come from the legs. Specifically, imagine that it started in the heels of the feet and then rippled all the way forward through the spine. You can kind of see, if you look at the screen, when I shift from my down dog to my up dog, it starts in the heels. So first, the heels propel forward, and then that propels the whole body forward. Take a few more here. Just use this to create even more space in the spine and even more fluency in your ability to change shapes and to change your own structure. After you've done this several times, go ahead and release the blocks to the side. We'll use them again in just a second. Come into downward facing dog, and then lunge the right foot up to the top of the mat. And this is where we'll use the blocks. So if you have the thicker blocks, you'll just use one flat and then one at an angle. I have these smaller blocks, so I'm using two stacked and then one at an angle. And we are using it the same way we used it for the low lunge, except now we're in a high lunge, and the blocks are to support the thigh. Arms up to the sky, grab your elbows. Again, you can do this without the blocks. You do not need the blocks for this. But the idea is that by using the blocks, we get a different experience in a pose that we've done many times in our life. At least for us yogis, right? This is a crescent lunge. It's a very common posture. And I love doing this with the blocks because it just makes me feel present in a new way. It gives me a new embodied experience. And then when I don't use the blocks, all I do is remember to when I did have the blocks, and I try to find a similar sensation. Okay, now you can add on the twist. So keep everything the same, but just twist over to your right. Left elbow toward right knee. You can bring your left hand into a fist and then cup over that fist with the right palm like a mitt fitting over a ball. Feel yourself revolving around your center. So the top of the head still kind of reaches forward to the space in front of you as you revolve around yourself. Release. No super graceful way to come out of this. So it might be a nice time to just sit back for a second. Give yourself a little breather, because even though we're using the blocks to support ourselves, there's no denying that it's still hard work. And if you're with me on this class, I just want to say thank you for being here, for trying something new. You know, this Katonah yoga material is really what comprises my personal home practice. And so even though I still have a lot of love and respect for vinyasa yoga and for hatha yoga and for all kinds of yoga, this is really what's inspiring me right now. So it's nice to be able to share it with some of y'all. So go ahead and switch sides, as I've already done. And it's okay if you need to finagle the blocks, right? It doesn't always come to the perfect spot every time. And you want to make sure the block is hitting your thigh at the proper angle so that the flat part of the block hits your thigh, not the pointy part of the block. And so you should still be working hard, but hopefully it's kind of like you're not working hard alone, right? You have the support of the props. So you're still driving the right heel back. You're still straightening the right leg. You're still so strong, but the blocks kind of give you the freedom to be here and to be embodied without worrying about some of those little details. Stay upright for another couple moments. And then make a twist. Revolve around yourself like a spiral staircase. Feel the top of the head reaching forward as the right heel reaches backwards, so we're lengthening from end to end. And then come out of it. Release the blocks. Relax the legs for a second. And so this is where everything kind of comes together. Some of you will already know this next thing if you've been doing the Katonah classes that I've been putting out. So come back into your down dog, and then from here, and feel free to watch on the screen if you're not sure where we're going, which is twisting down dogs here. So we've already done all those one-legged dogs. What we're going to do now is we're going to inhale, crouch like we've been doing, and then exhale, twist. So the right arm is going to reach through. I'm trying to reach my right hand past my left heel. So I'm not grabbing the heel, I'm trying to reach past the heel. And then my head dips down as my hips lift to the sky. So the hips and the head are on a spit with each other. So inhale, return to the crouch. And then exhale, slide and spin by reaching the left arm under. Inhale, crouch. Exhale, spin and reach the right arm. Inhale, crouch. Exhale, spin and reach the left arm. So the head should always be in the middle of the mat. The head shouldn't be going to the right or to the left. The head is in the middle because the hips are in the middle. And chances are if you're moving your head, then your hips might be moving off center as well. So of course where we're looking changes because our head is rotating with the twist. But our head is still in the center of our mats. Hopefully that makes sense. And then just keep going. The inhale is the crouch and the exhale is the twist. So keep it going. Take a break when you need, but let's go ahead and just do this for a second. Creating lots of good length, lots of good strength. You may notice, if you're like me, that you have a good side and a bad side. I know I certainly do. And eventually, your head should really start getting close to the bottom of the mat, or close to touching the mat. And then eventually, we'll start getting tired, so go ahead and bind onto your heel, and then pause there for like 3 breaths. So if your right hand is on your left heel, then go ahead and bend your right knee so that the knee fits into the armpit, and then drive the left heel back. And then switch. Twist your left arm through, or do whatever side that you were just doing. And then return to your dog, and then walk to the middle of your mat for a forward bend. Standing forward bend. If you want to shake out the knees a little bit, you can. If you want to shake out the arms, you can. Standing forward bend. So bend your knees greatly. Lengthen yourself. So with your knees bent, crawl your fingertips out in front of you a little bit. Pull your butt back, bring the weight into your toes, and then lengthen the spine, and then fold with that length. Grab opposite elbows. Your feet should be about 2 fists width apart. That'll bring you to about hips width distance of the feet. Grab your elbows, sway side to side as you shift the weight from left foot to right foot. And just make sure to keep the weight shifting forward toward your toes rather than back into your heels. Relax into it. So shake out the legs if you want. Stay in the forward bend. Keep the bend in the knees. Butt pulls back. Weight is in the toes. Left fingertips plant on the ground. Twist the right hand up to the sky. Try to keep your hips even. So if you notice your hips kind of shifting one way or the other, try to keep them on the same even playing field. And then switch your twist. Right hand down, left hand to the sky. And then one more time each side. So left hand down, right hand twist to the sky. Oh, I'm sweating. I'm working a little bit hard. These Katonah practices can be sneaky in this way, right? We're not moving so fast or anything. We're not doing the craziest poses, but this little subtle heat just kind of keeps building, at least for me. And go ahead and switch. Twist left. Okay, as you fold this time, bring the palms under your heels. And again, you don't have too much weight in your heels, so you shouldn't be pushing into your hands too much because most of the weight's in the toes. And then go ahead and sit the hips down, and then lift the hips up into your fold. Sit the hips down, lift the hips into your fold. And just kind of fold and unfold a few times. Knees should kind of be like fitting into the armpits, essentially, as the heels fit into the palms of the hand. This is another one of those things that might feel really weird or uncomfortable, but you get used to it. You get used to the feeling of the hands being under the feet after you practice it some time. I'll do a few more and then we'll be done. All right, and then pause in your fold, shake out the legs, let some of that go, let some of the structure go. And then we'll do this little folding series where we're preparing for camel pose. So from your fold, go ahead and sit all the way down. Use your hands as much as you want. And then we'll tilt forward into a toe stand and drop our knees down in front of us. Push forward through the pockets of your pants and then take like a trust fall, like you were going to go to camel. But don't do it. It's just a trust fall to build strength. And then sit back to your heels. Pop the knees up. Drop the heels down and fold. And then do it the other way. So bend the knees, sit back. Pop the knees up, drop the knees down, push forward through the pockets of your pants, lean back into a trust fall, and just do this several times. Sit back, lift up, forward fold, sit the hips down, pop the heels up, drop the knees, trust fall. We'll do one more and then we'll go into camel pose. And the trust falls are really good in preparing us for camel pose. That's kind of what I do them for. Because when we trust fall, we're building all of that strength that we then want to bring into the big back bend, which is Ustrasana, camel pose. All right, so on the next one, feel free to go into it. Take your camel. What I like to do is trust fall into the camel. Hips push forward. Slowly release. Sit back onto your shins in Vajrasana, seated position. It's nice whenever you do something that's very energetic or opening like that, just to do something very normal afterwards, which is why it's nice to just come to a seat and to let things kind of simmer a little bit. Right? We brought ourselves up to a boil, and now we just let ourselves simmer. We let ourselves sit in the warmth, in the space. Next, we'll go ahead and set up for a seated forward fold. So for the seated fold, I personally like to use a block in between my shins as a headrest, because it's nice when the head is supported. Sometimes when the head is just floating, then it's not as stable of an experience for the nervous system, and we're not truly able to let go in the ways that would serve us. So keep the knees a little bit bent and lengthen into your fold. So one of my teachers likes to say that every forward bend has a back bend. So we start by kind of back bending, lifting up as tall as we can, and then we lengthen and we almost like a back bend into the forward bend. And that's how we create as much length as we can. Your palms could cup your heels, or feel free to bring a block to the edge of your feet. Paschimottanasana. Take some time here. Begin to lift up. As you lift up, make your way into a comfortable seat where we'll do some breath to end our practice. If you prefer to just lay down on your back into more of a shavasana, by all means, your practice, your home, your choice. I like to sit on my shins with my hips supported by a block or two. It's nice to sit with the hips above the knees because that way it's easier for the spine to extend nice and tall. Close the eyes if you're comfortable doing so. Take an inhale. Imagine the inhale was like fire rising up your back. Turn the palms face up in your lap, and then the exhale rains down your front. It's like grace falls from the sky into your palms. Let's wrap ourselves up a little bit. So inhale up the back. Exhale down the front. 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 Keep going at your own pace, or just settle into more of a fluid state of meditation. If you want, you can focus your awareness on your third eye center. Just take a little quiet moment of mindfulness for yourself, and this is also where you could set any intention for your day ahead. My friends, this is where I will close off the practice for today. I bow to each of you. Thank you so much for joining me for today's fluency practice. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned one thing or discovered one thing during the practice. If you have any thoughts, questions, or comments, definitely leave them below. And I hope to see you again for another class very soon. Thanks again, and have a blessed day. Peace.